It's 11:48 p.m. You're lying in bed, replaying a conversation from 6 years ago, not because it matters, not because you decided to think about it. It just arrived, uninvited, the way these things do. And somewhere in the replay, you say something slightly different than what you actually said. You don't notice. You never do. The version in your head feels correct. It feels like footage, but it isn't footage. It never was. Somewhere along the way, you started believing that your memory works like a recording device that's somewhere in your skull. There is a quiet archive holding exact copies of everything that ever happened to you. You trusted enough to argue with people over it. You trusted enough to build your entire sense of who you are on top of it. And that trust may be the first lie your brain tells you, not a lie in the sense of deception, a lie in the sense of a story that feels true because it's the only version you've ever had access to. Here's the strange part. Every time you remember something, you're not opening a file. You're rebuilding it, pulling fragments from wherever they're scattered, stitching them back into something that feels whole. And each time you do this, the new version gets saved over the old one, not copied, overwritten, which means the memory you have right now isn't the original. It's the last edit. This isn't speculation. It's one of the more consistently replicated findings in memory research. Each retrieval is a reconstruction, and each reconstruction is vulnerable to whatever you were feeling, whatever you'd heard since, whatever story you needed it to tell. Confidence in a memory and accuracy of a memory turn out to be almost entirely unrelated. You can feel completely certain and still be wrong. Certainty was never proof. It was just a feeling that showed up alongside the memory, uninvited, like a guest who insists they were there the whole time. Think about the last real disagreement you had with someone close to you, not about facts, about what happened. You remember them raising their voice first. They remember you did. Neither of you is lying. You're both reporting an honest reconstruction built from two different vantage points, two different emotional states, two different sets of prior grievances, quietly editing the footage in the background, which raises an uncomfortable question. If two people can stand in the exact same moment and walk away with two different truths, what exactly are you defending when you insist your version is the one that's correct? That's the first thing your brain does. It rebuilds the past to make sense of the present. The second thing is worse. Say you're convinced someone doesn't like you. You've decided this already, somewhere below conscious thought. Now watch what happens. They don't reply to your message right away. Evidence, they seem distracted in conversation. Evidence, they make a joke that could be read two ways, and you read it the way that hurts. Evident, your brain isn't gathering information anymore. It's gathering confirmation. It's building a case it already decided to win. This is what researchers call confirmation bias. And it's one of the most consistently observed patterns in how people process information we notice. Remember, and weigh evidence that supports what we already believe, and we quietly discount what doesn't. It's not that you're being irrational on purpose. It's that your mind isn't built to search for truth. It's built to protect a conclusion. And once you notice this, you start noticing it everywhere in the way you scroll past information that unsettles a belief you like, in the way an argument with a stranger online somehow ends exactly where you thought it would, in the way you can watch the same event as someone with opposite politics and come away with a completely different set of facts, both of you certain, both of you selectively fed. Here's what makes this uncomfortable instead of just interesting. This mechanism didn't evolve to make you wrong. It evolved to make you fast in an environment where hesitation could get you killed. A mind that quickly matched new information to existing patterns had a real advantage over one that carefully reevaluated everything from scratch every single time. Speed mattered more than precision. Coherence mattered more than accuracy. The system worked. It still works in the sense that it does exactly what it was built to do. It's just that the world it was built for isn't the world you're living in anymore. Nobody needs to make a split-second judgment about a stranger's intentions across a savanna. But the machinery that once made that judgment is still running, applying itself to text messages and tone of voice and unanswered emails, treating a Tuesday afternoon like a threat. So the brain isn't malfunctioning when it lies to you, it's doing its job. The job just doesn't always fit the moment. Now, put these two things together. A memory system that rewrites itself every time you use it. A belief system that only wants to see what agrees with it. What you get isn't just occasional error. What you get is a self that is quietly and continuously editing its own story to remain consistent with itself. You've probably felt this without naming it. The version of an old relationship you tell yourself now is not the version you would have told a year after it ended. The reasons you left a job get cleaner with time. The reasons someone hurt you get sharper. Not because new facts emerged, because your mind has spent years quietly revising the manuscript, trying to make the story make sense of the person you've since become. This is where it stops being about memory or bias and starts being about something closer to identity. Because if the story you tell about your past keeps changing to match who you are now, then who you are now was partly built by a story that isn't entirely accurate. That doesn't mean nothing is real. It means the record you're consulting was never a record. It was always closer to a rough draft, revised in your sleep, revised in every retelling, revised by every person who ever asked you to explain yourself. There is a strange kind of relief hiding inside that. If you sit with it long enough, the argument you're still replaying, the one where you're certain you were right, might not be quite what you think it is. Not because you were wrong, because right was never something either of you had access to in the first place. You were both remembering as best your minds could manage, filtering as best your minds knew how, building coherence out of something that was never going to hold still. Maybe the goal was never to catch your brain in the act and correct it. Maybe you can't. Maybe the more honest move is smaller than that, just knowing quietly. In the moment you feel most certain about something, that certainty isn't evidence. It's just what it feels like when your mind has finished editing. It's 11:48 p.m. again. You're still lying there. The conversation from 6 years ago is still replaying, still slightly wrong in ways you'll never be able to identify. But this time, you don't reach for the argument. You just notice the footage and let yourself wonder for a second how much of it you actually filmed